Okay, so, all right. I just realized that I hadn't been doing the introduction, but whatever. This is part four. Um, and we're talking about clearing the old to make way for the new and the 7-7 portal, and like that being the theme of this portal. The reason that I had made four, and then I don't know what I did, but I accidentally got rid of it. Um, I thought that I was just gonna go to bed after that, but I'm still here. So, and yeah, they keep just saying that like this is something that needs to be said, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. So, um, I think that it was just in part three that like I was talking about, different forms of meditation and everything, and developing your connection with your people like through various means. That can be anything. For me, it is telepathy. Um, so they're always like interjecting anyway, but like an actual conversation could happen whenever. Recently it's whenever I'm actually doing dishes, because like I literally have nothing else going on, like in the kitchen here now. It's there's the wall there, right? So like I can't even look into the living room to be distracted by anything. um so like I'm just staring at a wall in there, so if I'm even looking up while I'm doing dishes, none of that actually matters. Get to the point. The point is, while I'm doing that, this is whenever I'm having like conversations with them about like what's going on. Like, and this is like where they start letting me know like what the topic of a video is going to be. What we initially had started talking about was not just like out with the old and with the new, because I didn't realize that that was the theme of this portal or anything until like after I finished in the kitchen. But what we were talking about was um out with the old way of like thinking and being and viewing things, and the specific um example given was, you know extremes, right? So like going from like the thought processes and our ways of like viewing things, being too optimistic or being, I don't know what the hell, but or being too pessimistic, and like trying to find that balance, and like how there are like extremes of each. And the extreme of well, I mean, being an extreme pessimist, we all pretty much know what that is. Like whenever something good does come to us, um we're so stuck on like negativity and like viewing things negatively, and that could be like really through no fault of our own. Like maybe we've been like going and like, oh, we just keep hitting walls and doors are just being slammed into our face, and like we finally get to a point where like, what does it even matter, because every time I try, like, this thing happens or that thing happens, or whatever. It's kind of a natural thing, but like understanding that it's natural, but it's a natural conclusion whenever you're like constantly doing something and you think that like you've altered it or changed it, or you're looking at it from a different angle, but these things keep happening. Whenever something that comes from like, it's like about to sideswipe you, it's the whole point was like the path that you're going down, you're just like altering these little things on this exact same path. The reason that you're seeing all these no's is because this isn't the path. So finally, whenever you get to that point where you're like, you give up, but like your mind and your thought processes are negative, right? Like, just fuck it. This thing comes in from out of left field. when it comes in, you are so like in the cycle of being pessimistic now that like you're gonna look at it and you'll say like, what does it even matter? You know, like I've already done, you know, all these other things. Why would this thing work? And like when you finally like realize that that's where you're at, that like you're being too pessimistic and you're like, okay, fine, fuck it, I'll just give it a try, and then it works, right? um the the other side of that would be being too optimistic, and being too optimistic is like you were clearly in a bad situation and you're trying to remain positive about it, and that can look at like um you're in a toxic work environment, you're in a toxic relationship, um, maybe you're surrounded by toxic friends, you're or like you're doing something toxic, like maybe you're drinking or maybe you're smoking or you know something like that, and you're just like, oh, it's okay, I only drink on you know every day that ends in y, it's not a big deal. Or you know, it's okay. Like, yeah, this situation that I'm in with this person is like not good, but you know, maybe things will change, maybe things, but like it's to our detriment, right? Like we're waking up with hangovers and every day that ends in Y. The relationship is like total shit. Like we aren't treating them the way they're treating us, but like we won't look at the red flags and be like, oh my gosh, it's on fire, I need to leave. Um, so the like they were showing me temperance, right? Because temperance is about balance, like a healthy healing balance and like a flow state, right? So like our emotions are usually tied to like our thought processes, whether we want to admit it or not. We can like detach, but like is that really like the right thing to do also? No, like we have to find a balance, like, and it can be hard, especially like in the world that we're in. So like temperance, she's like finding a like a balanced flow state from one cup to the other, right? And down here you can see that she has like one foot in water, which is like our emotions and stuff, and then like one foot touching the ground, which is like grounding us, grounding, but still feeling at the same time, because one foot is like completely in the water. The other one, she's got like, it looks like just the her toe pad is like touching um the ground. So like she's not trying to like ground so solidly that like she's not able to feel the emotions, right? So like you got to ground yourself and like show like emotional maturity, like emotional integrity. Whenever we're finding this balance at the top, like the halo around our head, enlightenment, right? So like whenever we accept that like we have emotions, right? That's something that everybody's always trying to like, you're too emotional, you're too, well, yeah, like that's kind of the part of that's like the quintessential of like being a human. Like we're supposed to feel. Like why would you remove that when that's the whole point of like a human experience, is to like experience these emotions? But we need to ground ourselves in order to not let our emotions like override us, right? So like removing these boundaries that we have within ourselves, like removing, if we're too pessimistic, removing that, if we're too optimistic, removing that, and then finding a balance, right? To like go ahead and like, and then there's like the sun card. So like um finding that grounding, that balance leads us to like the enlightenment, which leads us like to the next phase of our journey. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to wrap this up because I'm ready for bed. So happy healing, everybody. See you in the next